Coming up on Lexington Now, a new council member, Bike Lexington, and bike safety. This and more up next on this week's edition of Lexington Now. Roberts, and welcome to another edition of Lexington Now, where we give you an inside look at what's going on around the urban county government. Mayor Jim Gray announced his pick for the vacant 2nd District Council seat at a ceremony at City Hall.
Thank you all for being here, family, friends. Today I am pleased to announce my choice for 2nd District Council member, and that is Joe Smith. Joe has a great story to tell. He's a Lexington native. He's an active volunteer who's been president of his neighborhood association, former member of the board of trustees of his alma mater, Lexington Catholic, member of the JCs and Big Brother, Big Sister. And he served in public service. He has offered himself in public service. He's been a member of the Planning Commission, Board of Adjustments, and he served on the Lyric Task Force Committee. He's worked as a realtor in Lexington for 30 years, and many folks in the community have told me how much he's meant to them. Councilmember James Brown, for example, describes Joe as his mentor. Joe is well prepared to be a council member. He's been active in his neighborhood, in public service. A Lexington native who cares about his hometown. He brings energy and enthusiasm and spirit and a deep knowledge of Lexington, and especially the 2nd District today. He has a deep commitment to our city and to making it the best it can be, and that's what being a council member is all about. So it is now my pleasure to introduce to you all Joe Smith. Let me get this out of the way.
Thank you. It truly is an honor to be here today. First of all, I'd like to thank my family. Sharon, without her support, obviously I would not be here. My son, Dee, my daughter-in-law, Deanne, are in the audience there. As Mayor Gray mentioned, I'm a Lexingtonian, lived here all my life. Great place to live. Great place to raise a family, friends, neighbors. It's wonderful to be in this city. Community service. I've done it all my life, basically starting back in high school with my parents. I was always taught to give back to your community, give back to your neighbors. And I just followed suit every step of the way. Serving on the Board of Adjustment and the Planning Commission gave me a different insight to this community, particularly how hard this staff works to keep Lexington growing and as beautiful as it is. I want to thank Mayor Gray. I want to thank my fellow council members. And first of all, once I get started, my #1 goal is to reach out to the people of the 2nd District. I thank you all very much.
Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky so long as you continue a citizen thereof, and that you will faithfully execute to the best of your ability the office of council member of the Lexington-Fayette Urban County Government according to law? And do you further solemnly swear that since the adoption of the present Constitution, that you, being a citizen of this state, have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within this state nor out of it, nor have you assent or accepted a challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons, nor have you acted as second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offending, so help you God. Please respond, I do.
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
For more information about the new council member, log on to the city's website. It's lexingtonky.gov. A family favorite is right around the corner. I'm talking about Bike Lexington's Family Fun Ride. Here's more about how you and your family can get involved.
Hello, my name is Kyle Frizzell. I'm an event coordinator with the Downtown Lexington Corporation. So Bike Lexington is going to be held this year on Saturday, June 3rd. This year, Bike Lexington is once again presented by Pedal Power. It's going to happen right here at Robert F. Stevens Courthouse. Most activities happen right here behind us on the corner of Short and Limestone, and we'll kind of start. It's a nice police escorted ride through downtown Lexington. We have a lot of awesome activities planned for that morning. Starting at 8 a.m. we have the kids rodeo, and then at 9 we'll have the Bike Lexington slow cycle. The slow cycle will be at 9 a.m. where the last person to finish wins. And then we'll have the ride start promptly at 10 a.m. For more information on Bike Lexington presented by Pedal Power, visit our website at downtownlex.com and also get on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
As the spring weather warms up, more and more cyclists are going to be taking to the road. But before you hit the streets, there are a few things that you need to know to stay safe.
When riding bicycles downtown Lexington, or anywhere for that matter, there are special traffic considerations cyclists must adhere to.
My name is Howard Florence. I'm a police officer downtown in Lexington. I've been with the department for 22 years. When you're on a bike downtown, we do encourage that you use the streets. The bicycle lanes are well marked, the streets are well paved. There's some hazards associated with that, as would be anywhere you're on the street. Watch for parked cars pulling out, watch for people exiting their cars, watch for the doors opening up, kind of a thing. Watch for pedestrians, they may step out between cars in your path. Make sure you signal your intentions to the motorist if you're changing lanes or making turns. And one of the most important things is to make sure that you stop for the red lights. Especially downtown, the cars are going to trip the lights. You're not going to have to wait very long. It's a safety issue, and it is the state law that as a cyclist on the road, you're bound by the same laws that govern vehicles. So stopping for the red lights is highly encouraged. When you're riding in the street downtown, always make sure that you're going with traffic. You don't want to ride against traffic. Stay to the right as much as you can. If you find yourself riding on the sidewalk, obviously that creates a whole other set of hazards for you and for pedestrians. Pedestrians always have the right of way. So if you find yourself on the sidewalk, some things to look out for: don't get too close to the buildings. People could be stepping out or opening a door on you. And just the simple fact that pedestrians move so much slower than anybody that would be on a bicycle, you're always going to catch up to them. So if you're catching up to a pedestrian walking, their backs to you, they're not going to know you're there. So if you have a bell on your bike, you might want to just give that a little friendly ring, or just give a kind greeting just so that they know that you're there. And then make sure you still give them enough space, because when they react to you, it still may startle them, and you may not know how they're going to react. They may step into your path. So I just want to emphasize, pedestrians, they always have the right of way. And also watch for cars that are maybe pulling in and out of the parking garages. They're not really expecting a bicycle to be coming down, maybe, because like I said, you're going to be moving a lot faster than a pedestrian would be. So just make sure you're watch out for that. BikeLexington.com is a very good resource. It has links to the state laws for bicycling as well as the city ordinances.
For more information about how to stay safe on the road, no matter what you're driving or riding, log on to the city's website. It's lexingtonky.gov. And coming up after the break, it's time to get those spring cleaning projects done. Don't be sad. We've got some tips for you.
Yeah! You've got to give a little love. Give a little love. Go on and do it. You can't abuse it. Give a little love. Give a little love. Go on and do it. Go! You've got to give a little love. Give a little love. Go on and do it. You can't abuse it. Give a little love.
Hello, I'm Detective Mark Thomas with the Lexington Police Department. You may also know me from Bluegrass Crime Stoppers. I'm here to talk to you a little bit today about a new texting system that we have available through any smartphone. In the body of your message, you can text LexPD plus your tip to crimes. When you're submitting anonymous information, we ask that you include several things that would help us conduct the investigations more thoroughly, such as a person's name, their home address, possible license plate numbers, any other people involved, or why you think that they're conducting the type of activity that you believe that they are. All of those things, no matter how small you believe they could be, are relevant to the investigation. So please include those. So remember, you can send your anonymous tip information either through text, you can call the Bluegrass Crime Stoppers anonymous tip line at 859-253-2020, or you can go online to bluegrasscrimestoppers.com. Thank you.
Cigarette butts are the #1 most littered item in Lexington. Filters in cigarettes are not biodegradable like an apple core. They can take up to 25 years to decompose. Please put your butts where they belong. Don't trash the bluegrass.
Welcome back to the show. A wise man once said there are two types of people on this earth: those who love spring cleaning and those who hate it. No matter what category you fall in, Lauren Monahan has some tips for you to get the job done right.
Yes, there are lots of tips that we can discuss that can help with those spring cleaning projects, home improvement projects, painting projects, anything under the sun that a lot of residents are doing during this time of year as the weather continues to get warmer. Paint is something that we see frequently. If you no longer need paint, we have a few suggestions. We have a recycling program that was started back in 2009 with Habitat for Humanity over at their Restore on Southland Drive. They actually accept latex paint. in their recycling program. They take that paint, they mix it with different colors. They've actually perfected a few different really neat colors with the recycled paint that they receive. And so you can actually purchase that paint as well. So you can not only recycle your paint, but you can purchase recycled paint over there at the ReStore. That's for paint that isn't old, dried up. And so if you have paint that you are ready to get rid of, we just ask that you take the lid off that paint can, you mix it with paint hardener, kitty litter, sawdust. Any of those items will help harden your paint. Stir it up, set the lid back on there. You can set it at the curb for our crews to take care of when they come by on your regular service day. You can also go ahead and put that bagged inside your Herbie container, and that's also a safe way, of course, after it's been hardened. A lot of you, while you're cleaning out your garages or other parts of your homes this spring season, may have hazardous chemicals to get rid of. We ask that you hold on to those chemicals until our next hazardous waste collection event, which allows for residents to drop off any hazardous chemicals, old oil, oil-based paint, pesticides, fertilizers, furniture, varnish or finish, items such as this that you don't want to put in your Herbie since they are hazardous. So that we ask that you hold on to those until our next hazardous take-back event occurs. You can also look on the label. Sometimes labels on these hazardous chemicals contain information on safe disposal methods, or they have a phone number that you can call for more information, or even a website. That's something, if you'd like to just go ahead and maybe try to dispose of that in a safe way before our next hazardous collection, you can always look at the back label on some of those items. We've got a couple different ways that you can dispose of items that you may not need any longer. One such item is appliances. We also refer to those as white goods. That's anything from a stove to a refrigerator or freezer, washers and dryers. These items can be serviced by the city if you receive city trash collection. All it requires is a call to LexCall at 311 or 425-2255, and we will send a special truck different from the regular trucks that service your neighborhood every single week. And so that's why all you have to do is call LexCall. They will send a truck out to pick up that appliance. Residents of Lexington can also take appliances to environmental recycling on Winchester Road. And you can visit our website for more information on that drop-off service. As residents get outside more in the spring and summer seasons and begin pruning your lawns and your gardens, the Division of Waste Management offers yard waste pickup. We pick up items such as leaves, grass clippings, tree branches. So we recommend, if you don't have a container, please call LexCall and request one. This is the best way to have your yard waste picked up from your location. We have yard waste routes that run through the neighborhood every single week on your regular collection day. Construction and demolition material is not serviced by the Division of Waste Management at the curb. If you have this material and you have a contractor doing that work for you, consult with them. They may have a way to dispose of that for you. We also accept that material at our Fayette County transfer station located at 1505 Old Frankfort Pike. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to go to our website. We have lots of information on there. You can also call LexCall at 311. Our website is www.lexingtonky.gov/waste management.
And spring's not only a great time to get the inside of your house taken care of, it's a great time to get your yard ready for the growing season ahead. John Saylor gives us some tips on taking care of our yards. Too much mulch is a bad thing.
When we see trees that are mulched like a volcano, like the tree's about to be shot out of the mulch, that is not a good thing for the tree.
Well, that's a comical way to say not to over mulch, but there's a real method to this mulch madness.
When we have so much mulch around the tree, especially at the base of the tree, we have rodents that can overwinter in that mulch and basically chew at the bark of the tree. You want mulch to be no greater than 4 inches and you want it to break down. You want that at the end of the season to have to add more mulch.
So what's the right way to do it?
If you do have the mountain of volcano mulch ring on your tree, then you can just pull that mulch off. It's a simple fix. You can just take it, just extend that mulch ring and pull the mulch away from the base of the tree. So they're just going to show you, how to make that. And even up against the trunk of the tree, you just want a light dusting.
Follow these tips for healthy, happy trees this spring.
In our street tree ordinance, we say that street trees need to be 7 feet cleared over the sidewalk and 12 over the street.
But not everybody follows the rules, making it tough to walk, run, drive, and see in neighborhoods. And breaking the rules isn't just a nuisance. It can also mean a fine for lawbreakers. Just
encourage everyone to take a look at their trees and kind of think about in the future what branches are going to be impacting the right-of-way on the street side and then also on the sidewalk.
And if you don't know how to prune, John Saylor has some tips for you.
You never want to just cut and leave a stub. You want to take it back to a lateral branch, and typically you want to take it back to something that's a third in size of what you're removing. And then you always want to prune out just the dead wood. A dead branch is just it can be an open door for wound or disease to get into the trees. So I've got some dead pieces right there, and actually I'm going to take this on back to the lateral above, and then I'm going to take some of this finer dead out, the interior of the tree that's just basically dead and doing nothing for us. And I'm taking it, notice I'm taking everything back to a branch. I'm not stubbing it off.
And he says if you do decide to prune, it's best to do it when your tree is young.
It's just like people, they can tolerate a little bit more, heavy, being a little heavy-handed on the pruning now. Not strip it clean, but basically they can take a lot more than if this tree was older.
Well, this time of year is the height of the clash between seasons when severe weather can strike at any time. Tim Brandewy gives us some tips on weathering the season.
Severe weather can strike at any time, but especially this time of the year.
One of the things that we focus on a lot this time of year, obviously, are destructive spring storms. Historically, our worst storms generally happen from about late January to about late May, when we get the warm fronts come through and spawn off very often tornadoes. The best defense you have against destructive weather, especially this time of year, is awareness. And with the advent of 24-hour weather stations, but more importantly, personal electronic devices, the ability to keep track of weather as it moves and as it threatens has greatly increased.
And he adds that having a weather radio is an absolute must.
The single biggest thing that we really recommend that every household have is a NOAA weather radio. These weather radios will be automatically activated by the National Weather Service in the event of approaching dangerous weather. These new systems are great. I know that if people have had some of the older ones, they used to go off all the time for every storm from Paducah to Pikeville. But with the technologies of the new ones, you can narrow it down right to your county.
Brandewy says it's especially important during the springtime because storms can come right during the middle of the night.
The siren systems we have in the city are only designed to warn people that are outside. And so if you're inside your house and it's late at night or you're in bed, the single best way to be alerted of the approach of very dangerous weather would be to procure a NOAA weather radio. They're available at Walmart's, Kroger's, Radio Shacks. We recommend that every family maintain one.
Brandewy says it's better to be safe than sorry.
Try to maintain a kit at your house, to be somewhat self-sufficient for a day or two. Our website, on the Fayette County Emergency Management website, we have some readiness tips about what to keep in a kit: a radio, a flashlight, some water, perhaps prepare for extended power outages, and have a plan.
If you choose not to make a kit at home, you should at least read up on some of the steps you can take to be safe inside of your home.
You should always get to the lowest point in your house, the furthest away from any opening to the outside, doors, windows, whatever. Of course, if you have a basement, Basement's obviously the best place to go. Again, you just kind of want to get away from the outside in case things start to blow around and try to avoid injury that way. But otherwise, our primary thing that we try to tell the citizens is be aware.
There is a busy schedule of televised meetings this week in the Urban County government, including the Council Budget Links meeting, the Budget, Finance, and Economic Development Committee, the Council Work Session, and the Mayor's proposed budget, and the Vacant Property Review Board. All of that's on Tuesday. The Board of Architectural Review on Wednesday, and the Revenue Update and the Council meeting on Thursday. Like I said, we are busy. But you can catch all of these meetings live, as well as our other programming on Channel 3 or online at lexingtonky.gov. Well, that's all for this week's edition of Lexington Now. We'll return next week with more news from your Urban County government. But in the meantime, you can keep up with what we're doing by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also get 24/7 traffic updates and delays by following us on Twitter. Our handle for that is @LexRex. Or if you're one of those folks who likes to see exactly what's going on out there on the roads, you can log on to our live interactive cameras. They're on the city's website. You know where to find us, lexingtonky.gov. For the staff and producers at GTV3, I'm Sherelle Roberts, and that's it for now.
The preceding program was produced through the facilities of GTV3.